So it was all Humboldt crew. We had massive amounts of weed. Somebody thought someone stole their weed the first day, and they literally hid it so well that they didn't find it until a week later. And so everybody thought that they didn't have any weed, and then they found it. So I got invited with them. I also brought my boyfriend, who I had only been with for 3 weeks, to the burn, which everybody said was a mistake.
It's questionable choice at best.
Questionable choice. We made it. We actually dated for 4 years.
Hey, there you
So-
go. You know, sometimes doing a pressure test early shows you that you've got a good find.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, you got to get yourself a burn or a pandemic under your belt. To see if you really got a
Are we
worthwhile
gonna last?
relationship going.
Yeah. Very, very true.
So have we been through something? Listeners, send me links too. I don't even care what they're to. Just show me things on the internet.
You get so many goatsies.
I've
D-Day-
seen Goatsy.
D-Day would like you to show him things on the
Yeah, show me hyper Goatsies, guys. Goatsy is old. Show me Goatsy new. What's the new Goatsy? What's the Goatsy that kids are listening to these days?
You know the thing that stopped happening, and I don't know if it's because I'm older than 14, but like 2 Girls, 1 Cup and Goatsy.
Yeah, everybody decided that 2 Girls, 1 Cup was too gross to even be fun anymore.
That was just the end of it.
It's like you're like, oh, I'm gonna make you watch this horrible thing. Oh, I had to actually engage with that horrible thing to make you do it. I don't feel good.
See, that was the end of
That's
it.
the end of it. Nobody wanted to perpetuate that.
Yeah, now stuff that is about large gaping buttholes are for people who want to look at large gaping buttholes.
Right?
It's all about consent on the internet now instead of just random horse and human porn popping up.
Speaking about large gaping buttholes, content warning for this episode. I'm sorry, listeners. Today on Accuracy Third, we're talking about cops. I'm D-Day.
I'm Rex.
And I am Beth.
And we're also talking about getting real wet.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, we're
that's
talking about
cool,
cops
too.
and we're talking about getting dick down.
I think that was dicked up.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the way I was
It's a
picturing
metaphorical down, though. Yeah. Well, of course it's up.
Well,
Stop
listeners,
derailing
now
me
you're
with your
hooked.
sexy
You're
talk,
hooked,
Beth.
ain't ya?
it. Such a terrible way to introduce this story.
Sometimes you get like 2 sentences into these intros, you're like, I don't know if these guys are hitting today, and you turn it off. But we're talking about dickin' and cops, and you're in. You're in, listeners. We know you.
So we know that the cops always just care about the things that are the least dangerous and the least important things to be policed in a society, like vague illicit drug use. And that is why the cops we're talking about today are the most dishonorable of the cadre of the cops, the fabled narc,
Oh, the narcs.
and specifically the subspecies of said narc, the burner narc,
Yeah,
the grossest kind of narc you can be.
the hot white young person narc dressed suggestively.
You can always tell the worst kind of burner narc because they didn't actually get their burner narc gear at burnernarc.com.
BurnerNarc.com, BurnerNarc.com, BurnerNarc.com.
Your only source for authentic branded burner narc gear. Let the skills know they've been busted by a pro.
That was pretty good.
Yeah,
I got
I was
no
really
notes on that.
impressed.
It was on the fly.
They don't usually land that well.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pleased. So today we're talking to our friend Anji Bear about marketing mostly and how to put your business out there and make sure that you push traffic to your website.
A lot of people don't know that Burning Man, just because it's like no vending and shit, is actually a pretty good place to network. Mm-hmm. You're going to get to know people who could potentially be your next client without having to make them know your next client, like right then and there. You can wait until you're driving home. You can follow up on that email.
I always tell people, you think you want to go to Burning Man, but do not come to Burning Man if you're not going to bring your hustle.
I don't understand what you guys are talking about. It's very confusing.
Look, Beth, this is not like any other burn before. This is Burning Man 2022 coming up. We're on our grind.
We are leveraging. We are NFTs. We are cybersecurity.
This is a waking dream of financial freedom, Beth.
I understand it's a joke, but I still don't like it.
NFT drugs, Beth.
Oh, so I can pay for drugs I don't have? Is that what I'm being?
No. You can pay for drugs you don't have with money that isn't real.
And you're just flying the whole time.
Yeah.
I've been doing that since I was 6, man.
Beth was the first crypto gal.
Buying pretend drugs with money I don't have? Fuck yeah.
No. The drugs are real. The money isn't.
Why are you doing this horrible thing?
I don't know. D-Day started.
I don't
I just
know.
yes-anded.
Yeah, like we derailed good.
Oh,
and
I
proper.
see.
You can pull us back anytime.
So you say.
Talk about narcs. NFT is the narcs of finance. Yeah, you think you got money, but what if your money was illegal?
Narc financial.
Also, you don't have money. Thank you for buying narc coin. Can somebody mint that? How does somebody mint a coin?
Like narc coin as a coin that you use on a fucking dark web drug market, and it just sends all of your information straight to the DEA. Turns on your webcam, starts recording.
Holy fuck, I love Narcoin. This person is trying to buy illegal drugs.
It prepays your bond. If it crashes, you owe more bond. Sorry, you were out, but we got to bring you back in. I'm sorry, Dogecat coin is bust.
I think this is just the intro. This is it. Here's Anji Bear.
This is the last funny thing you're going to hear for like 50 minutes.
That's not true.
Yeah, it's funny, but it's tragic from here on out.
Yeah, that is true.
Oh my God, the pit in your stomach is real.
Oh, content warning. Breathe. Just breathe.
Yeah, we're all going to breathe.
Just breathe. It's just a podcast. You'll get to the end. There'll be jokes on the other side.
I'd like to invite you both to just take a couple breaths with me if you can, because this is kind of an intense story for me to tell and with earphones in and to not be very personable. So even if you're listening to this, if you could just ground for a minute, whatever that means to you, and just take a few breaths with me, that would help me. Thanks.
Absolutely. So what's your name?
Anji Bear.
Hi, Anji Bear.
Welcome to Accuracy Third, Anji Bear. Thank you for coming and recording with us.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I've been wanting to tell this story to the masses for a really long time, and this is a great opportunity. So I appreciate the opportunity.
Our pleasure.
And I just like to say before I go on that I've been meaning to tell this story at its length because I really don't want to tell this story ever again. And I want anyone I'm
We'll put
close
this at
to.
the beginning of the episode. Like, we'll give you the timestamps for it. You can just tell
Great.
them to check it out.
Yes, I want people to know it happened. This was a very traumatic thing that happened, and thank you for just not talking a whole lot about it ever.
Sure. We don't even know your real name. We only have your alias.
That's true. Okay, the story we will be telling is circa 2012, so exactly 10 years ago. And I feel like it's an important story to tell for the new burners, the old burners, anyone who's thinking about partying with anyone. I was camped at Asylum. We were a group of about 30 poly queerdos who were offering workshops around non-monogamy, BDSM, the like. And
I have to ask, was asylum a pun? Was there a funny extra S in there?
No, there wasn't, but it was just...
If it were the Poly Asylum, that would be a totally different proposition than the Poly Asylum. I just wanted to make sure we were clear.
Yeah. So really great group of people. Finally, this is like my 5th burn. I'm finally with my people. Like up until then, I hadn't really camped with my people. And it was just a really organized, really just around the food and everything was just we had, really nice quality camp. And we had some misfortunes early on. I have to say, someone, was using a mallet. I think it was just rebar. Actually, I think it was an electronic thing. Anyway, he split open his head. He went all the way back and had to have stitches on plyo. Yeah. So he had a concussion and he couldn't do it. He's our electrical guy.
Not to blame the victim, but that guy should know ahead of time that he is not suited for over the head sort of work.
I will say he has passed, so I do want to say his name, Dan Garcia. We love you.
Sorry, Dan. I'm kind of a prick.
No, it's okay. He's passed. We love you. So 2012, go early, go for build week. Go, I think it was 5-6 days. It was maybe Wednesday or Thursday before Monday, before the opening day. Worked really hard setting up camp, and Monday night hits and it's time to party.
It
for
damn
sure.
Straight is goddamn right.
As anyone who's been knows, for build week, Monday night is it's like the prom or whatever. So my girlfriend Kay, I'll call her, we decided to do some mushroom chocolates, and they're dark chocolate. And, they're delicious, but I have a hard time eating a lot of dark chocolate.
Oh, yeah, it's real intense.
Pure, it was like 95%. Ooh. Yeah, it was like really hard. So I'm like, and they're really
Caustic.
Weak. Sadly, these are very weak mushrooms.
I mean, if it's 95% dark chocolate, there's not a lot of space in there to put the mushroom.
Yeah. So exactly.
Pretty crumbly, I'd imagine.
It needed to be fattier. I don't even know what.
That's the worst way to improve mushrooms. Would you like some dark chocolate? No. There's psychedelics in them.
Damn it.
Okay, so I go to the corner, 5 minutes from camp, the corner, camp, whatever it was. So we're sitting there and my girlfriend Kay and I are, eating some mushrooms and just happy and talking. And then this person comes by in a clown suit drinking a beer, maybe like late 20s white man.
Dressed as a clown?
Dressed as a clown.
Like a for realsies clown? Or,
like a no white face. Like not
like a costume
100%.
store.
Like this is a costume.
Cheap-ass
Not
clown.
kind of like not. I mean, it was convincing, obviously.
So there was effort in that.
Yeah, and we're just talking to him. I don't even remember his name at this point. So
We're
Kay
going to call him Bozo.
All right, so Kay and I are talking to Bozo for, I don't know, probably 45 minutes or something, a long time. Kay's smoking a cigarette, like we're just hanging out. We had already partaked, I think, before we left to the corner, but we're like, man, we're really not feeling this. After about 45 minutes, like, let's take some more. And then I'm trying to eat this chocolate and I just can't physically eat it anymore. And this guy we'd been talking to, I was like, hey, I can't eat the rest of this chocolate. Do you want it? And he's like, oh, you know what? I don't want it, but my girlfriend does. I have a friend that does, and I was like, okay, whatever. I'm not like being super paranoid. Full disclosure, I've given lots of drugs away at Burning Man, like over the years. It's a gift I have. I've always had specifically psychedelics and marijuana come to me free or at a very low cost throughout my whole life. And so I always want to give that back to the world because these amazing experiences I've had. She comes over. She's also a very young, early 20s white girl, long, curly-ish blonde hair, fishnets, Doc Martens.
Not just as a clown.
Not just as a clown. And I'm like, hey, here's a chocolate. It's not even that strong. I'm sorry. I just can't physically eat this chocolate. You're barely going to feel anything. You want to try it? And she's like, sure, thanks. And pretends to eat it. I don't actually look at her the entire time thinking, let me make eye contact with you and make sure you're eating that.
Right.
And she pretends to.
I just like watching people eat their drugs.
I guess I should.
I always will.
If that's your thing, if you're into that, if you really want to watch them go down the hatch,
I don't want to talk about it. I just want to watch.
Okay. She said, thank you so much. Oh my God, that tasted so good.
Ooh.
Yeah, which in retrospect, I should have.
No!
But I am high. I'm not super high. Thank the fucking lords.
But
I
high
am not
enough.
super, super high throughout this whole experience. I have to say I'm very glad for that. So then we go, I want to smoke some weed, because I'm not feeling the mushrooms much. And you can't do that out in the open. You have to go
There's
to
cops everywhere.
camp. And we weren't far. So I was like, hey, we're going to go smoke some weed. Do you guys want to join us? Sure. So all four of us start walking down the street. And then Bozo gave me an LED tambourine. Which was pretty cool, when I'm tripping, so it's a tambourine and it's an LED sparkly, shiny thing. So
That's a great way to tell where the hippie you're going to bust is going. Like, that is the smartest goddamn thing I have ever heard of a cop doing.
Yeah, especially if there's a tracker up in it.
oh my God, or a recording device.
Yeah, I don't even think you need, it's just like there's fucking a circle of LEDs shaking back and forth and it's loud.
So that was payment.
Oh, you motherfucker.
Jesus fuck.
So I'm just this is the longest way.
Oh, they suck at every turn.
That's true. Okay, so we're back to camp. I asked this group, there's some people hanging out at camp too. So between the two narcs, I'm pretty sure they brought a friend at this point, and there were some people at camp. So I asked a group of like 8 people, does anyone want to go smoke some weed with me? Nobody raises their hand. And I thought that was kind of weird. Even while me tripping, I was like, nobody wants to smoke weed here. I just really didn't get it. Whatever. And then the girl, let's call her Barbie. She's like, I'll go with you to smoke some weed. And I was like, you know what? So there's some instinct in me. I was like, I'm just going to go have a moment by myself. And because I need to go to my tent, and full disclosure, I had a shit ton of drugs in my tent. Okay. Because I brought stuff for other people. So I go smoke a bowl by myself, and then I come back. So they don't know where my tent is, right? Because I was somehow smart and my spirit, whatever. And then, okay. So when they gave me the tambourine, I missed something. So they gave me the tambourine, and I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. The drugs I gave you, like, you're not even going to feel anything. I have some acid back at camp if you'd like some. So then I go back. So now I'm like, oh, let me get their acid. But we've been hanging out for another like half hour, 45 minutes, like now we've been hanging out for a couple hours. So I go get it. And, this is not an exchange, this is not, oh, I said I'd get that for you. Let me get that for you. Like 2 minutes later, this is like, oh, eventually at some point, an hour later. Okay. So I go get it. I put this in Bozo's hand, and I cover it with my own hand. And I said, I looked him in the eye, and I said, I really hope you have an amazing journey with somebody special tonight. And he gives me a hug, and they leave. I hug everybody. And about 2 minutes later, BLM, show up, and with their shiny lights, and ask, who's camped here?
Oh, I don't know. No one I know.
Camp?
We're
Smart
just sitting
people.
here. We sat down. And now we're getting up and going. Good night.
Yes.
Thank you. No. Thank you.
That is what some of the smart people did in our camp. Some people did that.
What? No, I don't.
So then I raise my hand. I'm camped here. And they're like, you. Because I had these big, I forgot to explain my outfit. I'm in like a leopard outfit. I have these big floppy ears that my friend Kat made. And they were the best ears ever. We lost them in the battle, So.
You still got that tambourine on you?
No.
Ah, fuck.
So they were like, you come with me. And then I go to the street, and then there's another cop just waiting there with me. And I'm just waiting there while they now are harassing my campmates. And I feel so horrible. That's what I feel the most horrible about. I'm like, great, now everyone's getting caught. I've just fucked over this amazing camp. It's the first night.
Yeah, the cops make you feel bad for them being huge pieces of shit. That's cop stuff, all right. What an abusive relationship.
So I'm not going to bring anything with me. So I asked Kay, my girlfriend, she's like, what do you need? And I'm like, get my ID and write down these 3 phone numbers. And just, that's all I need. It's just my ID and 3 phone numbers. And I have my backpack, which, mind you, had some mushroom chocolate bits in it. Anyway, they lasted in my bag for many days, which was very odd. So I'm feeling so horrible. I don't know. I had to wait maybe, I don't know, at least it felt like 3 hours. It could have only been an hour, on the side of the street, but it was just tedious. It's midnight now.
Oh, yeah, huh?
Yeah, it's midnight. This happened maybe at like 9. We started hanging out 9:10, and then now it's like midnight, and they take me off to BLM camp, just me by myself. I have my 3 phone numbers, and I have no idea what happened at camp until 24 hours later. So I have no idea if like everybody got caught with everything, if, the dog, they got a dog there. Dog actually was dumb and wanted to be in the kitchen, literally.
Yeah.
And they didn't have a warrant because you can't, it was locked, and you need to have a warrant to open any vehicle that is locked.
And I believe even dogs can't smell shit out there.
No.
Like, dogs got big snouts. They fill up with playa, too.
Yeah, and drug dogs are bullshit anyway.
All of this is bullshit.
Look, listener, if you think a drug dog is a valid investigative tool, do just a little bit of research.
Yeah, just look
into
into
the
how
science.
bad cops are at almost everything.
Yeah.
Okay. BLM camp, most depressing camp.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. Okay. Yeah.
Just
100%.
all white LED strings everywhere. No colors.
It
Did
is
they at least
fluorescent.
offer you a Choco Taco?
It is fluorescent.
Just
no
fluorescent
Choco
lights?
Taco.
Oh my God.
Choco Taco? No Choco.
Choco.
Fuck you, BLM.
God, they would bring fluorescent lights out into the desert.
They would.
To look at the maps. We got to look at these maps on the wall, So I proceed to embrace my inner yogi and breathe, because that's all I can do. Is I have a body and my body is breathing, and it's a meditation I learned in Brima, the first kind of body work I learned, and it has served me so well. That is the basic statement you just say over and over, and then you breathe. And throughout this whole time, luckily, I was able to get to that state for the most part amongst trauma. Right. So I sit there for a couple hours. It feels like forever. I see a 5150 person come in and out, who's like totally belligerent, and they had to like tie him down. That was pretty traumatic. I'm just calm, literally sitting there. I had to go pee like 3 times, and I had to go out to the porta potty. I was like, I have to pee again. I'm sorry. Like, I just,
That's the desert. That's what you do.
And so then finally Nevada State Police came in to question me. They're like very serious. Oh, and I do see Bozo at this moment, right? Like, and I look him right in the eye, and I cursed him. I've never cursed anyone. I am a witch. Right?
I have cursed a lot of people. I don't know if I'm a witch or not.
You've cursed at
You are a wizard.
Oh,
DJ.
I have also cursed at people, but like, I think it's very important to stare at people and let them know that the next time they have diarrhea, whenever it is, I gave you that, and I will give you that again.
Yeah. So this guy's cursed. Okay, Nevada State Police comes in, says, we want to take a statement from you. And I was like, well, I don't have to tell you anything, And then they said, without my lawyer.
That's fucking right.
Yeah, so
I'm sorry, I don't talk to cops.
Yeah. So they said, well, would you like to hear, some terms?
No.
And I was like, what do you have to say? There's nothing you can do. And he's like, well, if you find someone with 4 times the amount of drugs that we found on you, we'll let you go.
No, I'm not fishing for you, cop.
I wonder if that has ever worked for them out there.
Oh, yeah. I know some asshole. And I'm going to get him using you. God, fuck that.
Okay, so
Yeah, you're right. It probably has worked in those circumstances at least a couple of times. There have probably been at least a
like,
couple.
I'm not going to say that the year that we had the Israelis with 24/7 Psytrance behind us, I wouldn't have. I'm not that much of a shitheel. Fuck Psytrance, though.
Whatever.
Yeah, no, you're right. Like some people have to be arrested, and in this case, it's Israelis.
No.
Please proceed.
Psytrance is fine.
Okay, so-
fuck cops.
Fuck cops.
Fuck cops.
Fuck cops.
Don't talk to cops.
One more time.
Fuck
cops.
Cops.
Am I free to leave?
So I say, fuck you. I mean, I didn't say fuck you. I'm pretty sure I said, not interested. I will go to jail.
Yeah.
And so then I wait another couple hours, and then I'm getting cold, and they get like a moving blanket for me because like there's nothing else. And then
You guys got anything for people? Or is it just
Only
this
for furniture.
dehumanizing bullshit?
You are an armoire.
Okay.
so I'm now getting transferred to the local jail spot in Lovelock, Nevada. So very small.
Uh-huh.
Holding cell. I think it's only supposed to be like a holding place, but I met people in there who were in there for months. So there you go.
Oh, that's great.
So sunrise, beautiful sunrise in the cop car with the handcuffs, in the back of the truck there driving to I don't know where.
Romantic even.
Yeah. And I'm just like, fuck, I have a body. I'm breathing. Okay. This sucks. So we get there and it's all home male crew, all white men crew. Okay, at 6 a.m. on a Tuesday morning, in Lovelock, Nevada. And I have piercings. I have nipple piercings. I have a pubic mound piercing. And they asked if I had any piercings. And I said, yes, and my nose, so my earrings, like I have to take all my jewelry out and I can't take out one of my barbells. So I'm getting it processed. I get the picture taken and everything. So I have to ask, I'm like, I can't get my nipple ring out. Is there someone who could help me, like a woman officer? No. And they were like, if you can't get it out, we're going to have to go to the hospital. We're going to have to take you to the hospital to get it out. And it's going to take another few hours of processing. And at this point, I am cracked the fuck out, just want to cry in a corner and wrap myself up into a fetal position and just cry. I'm really waiting for that moment to settle into wherever I need to go to crawl into a ball. Okay. So this was pretty excruciating. So I was like, do you have pliers then that I could use? And they did. And so they worked. And we got through that. And I got through the processing and them treating you like an animal. 100%. It was like this. You are not a person. You are stupid. And
You broke a rule.
You're a skell.
I don't know what a skell is. Are they rule breakers?
It's cop talk, or at least the TV has led me to believe so.
So I finally get into, literally, I think it was black, and I think I was actually in black and white. And the only thing I could keep was my underwear. I'm pretty sure that was the only part that they actually let you keep. So I was like, really wish I would have worn a different pair or whatever, than the ones I chose. So I make my calls. Oh, so $40,000 bail. Yeah, $20,000 for possession, $20,000 for intent to sell, because that chocolate was really worth a lot.
It was worth one LED tambourine.
Okay, and it was sugar cubes. I forgot to mention that. So the acid was in sugar cubes.
Oh
There's
God!
also
So they're
weight.
charging you by weight.
Yeah, and it was over 4 grams. So it was over 4 grams for all of this, which is intent to sell in Nevada.
What kind of a nerd measures the weight of a sugar cube?
4 grams
An asshole.
of LSD is enough to get everyone high.
How can you tell that all of that sugar is an LSD,
Everyone
Rex?
high. I mean, everyone. All of us.
And the chocolate, too, of just the weight of the chocolate.
Yep.
Okay, so I make my calls. My dear roommate and ex-partner, who were still friends, and they have to do a bail bond because they don't have 40 grand. So it was like 6,800 or so that I was out. Like I owed someone first, like a first step of just like I owe somebody a lot of money. And, I don't know if I really want to get into the trauma of the space I was in, but I was only there for 12 hours and there was about 10 different women in these 2 rooms. The TV was on. The hot water, you had to push a button and it was like 5 seconds at a time.
Fuck.
And, just a cot and a blanket. And I don't even think you got a pillow. I don't remember that. But, I was thinking I was going to be there for a long time. I had no idea how long this processing takes. Like I was only there for 12 hours, but like I don't,
Yeah, they're not telling you.
There's no communication. Yeah, at all.
Yeah, you're an unperson.
Yeah, I'm a nun person.
You're a problem.
I have a little shame around this, but I did check out a book, and it was The Little Unicorn. And I only got the first few pages in, but I left it for somebody there. So anyway, there was some burners there. Some people. It was a sad experience. It was a car of, I think, 8 people from Utah, and one person had MDMA, and they arrested everybody in the van.
God.
They all got arrested, and only some of them. Yeah, and only 2 people couldn't afford or didn't know anyone who could bail them out.
Yeah.
So there was 2 people just waiting. And so, okay, miraculously, so I'm get arrested. All this has happened. It's started 9 p.m. or so. This is now it's 3, 4 p.m., and it's still daylight out. I'm getting out. I'm shocked. Oh, yeah. And the food was gross. I just have to say it was cold eggs and tater tots. And I couldn't eat tater tots for literally 5 years at all. After that.
So there's a lot of really shitty things already in this story. And I know there's more shit coming. But the fact that they ruined tater tots for you, fuck cops to death.
You got to do that on purpose. It's not hard to bake tater tots. You have to barely pay attention.
Well, the thing is, it was baked 2 to 3 hours prior. Yeah. So anyway, so I get out miraculously. Right as I'm exiting, the woman who works there is like, "Hey, your friend Carrie is on the phone. She's asking if you need a ride back to the playa, because all my shit's there, my car, my tent, everything I own, is there. I do have to get back there." And then I said, "Yes, I will be at the park across the street," because I don't know anything and I see a park, There we go. I'm right there. I then go to the library. Well, I run into someone, I actually forget his name right now. But he was in the van getting caught with the 8 people, and he was the driver and owner of the van. And so he's like, "Hey, do you want some food?" And he had yummy, healthy food, and he saved me. And I think I even smoked a cigarette. I was just
well, yeah, you're a jailbird. That's what you do.
I was
yeah, those are worth 2 or 3 bear claws.
So I go to the library, and I am my ex-partner who helped arrange me getting bailed out. But even though my roommate mostly helped me get out. Anyway, tell him I'm okay. Carrie's picking me up. I'm out. Love you. Okay. And then Carrie gets there. I go back to the playa, and she had a ticket for me. She told them at the gate, actually, what happened. And then they just were like, "Yeah, here's 3 wristbands," or whatever it was.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Slow clap for gate. Good job.
So we go back to the playa, and I'm honestly pretty traumatized by the whole experience, but I got through it. I have a body, my body's breathing, and also it was horrible and sucked. And my other partner, Jay, who I'm still with, was also there, and we had a date that night. So when he showed up, he was like, "Where's Angie?" on Tuesday night, because I wasn't there yet. And they all had to put him aside and tell him what happened.
Hey, so things really kind of suck right now.
Your date's gonna be a little different than
you're gonna really want to wind that whole "where's my date" thing back.
Right. So I get back, and everyone's just like, "Oh my God,
you have a date."
I'm so glad you're okay, D-Day. I'm so glad you know.
People have different priorities. I get it.
Okay, but everybody had to remove all their drugs in camp because of what happened. Because obviously we were on red alert. They're just gonna look at us throughout the whole burn. So everyone dispersed everything to other camps, and it was very smart. And nobody got caught with anything.
Nice.
So I didn't know that until this moment. It'd been 24 hours, almost exactly. And then finally, I'm like, "Oh, okay, whew. It's just me. That's cool." Okay, I proceed to have a pretty paranoid burn, but I had a pretty good time. I even had let me just put a little twist on a dark tale, which I had one of the hottest sex experiences that week. And it was on top of an art car that wasn't active. It was at the camp. Okay. We don't do that in public art cars. Okay. Unless it's
Unless you have to.
unless it's cool.
Unless it's a really good
If
idea.
it's cool, do your thing. We're not.
Yeah,
we're not.
if you should do it, you should.
We are
do it.
not here to tell you where to fuck and not to fuck.
okay. So I am a little stoned. I think I was just on some G. Okay. Super light. I wasn't like tripping hard. But I was like, we had been dating for a couple months already and we knew each other for years. And I was like on top of him and I was like, oh my God, I really want to have sex with you without a condom. Yeah. And we're super high. And so I'm on top. And then, oh my God, it just felt so good. And we're on top of this art car. No joke. Lightning storm happens. And rain starts to drip all over my naked body while I'm having sex for the first time with my lover, who I'm still with 10 years later. So just to throw in a little positive thing. So you have to do some warnings. Okay. So that was great.
Content warning, fluid bonding.
So that was great. We leave burn night. We'd actually planned to leave burn night. Like, just can't really deal sometimes with the traffic. Okay. We're princesses. Okay. So Kay and I had already planned that. And we left burn night. We're like wiping our fucking hands of that burn. It was the spaceship, that year. So it was the giant, it was a pretty fucking gnarly burn. And then I get, notice. I have to I think they mailed you something. And then it was like a mailing.
Congratulations, you're in the justice system. Prepare for carcerality.
So my court date wasn't until November of 2013. So I had a year and a half to wait. And just not know what the fuck was happening. Okay, another full disclosure.
It's almost like the right to a speedy trial is really kind of bullshit.
I mean, best case scenario, they run out of funding for prosecuting you or just for one reason or another stop giving a shit.
Yeah. So I get back and I had enrolled in a counseling program, actually, this year-long counseling program. And I realized I couldn't afford it anymore because I couldn't afford anything. Right. So I was like, hey, I'm not going to be able to do this training. And then the founder, I won't name it because they're no longer around, but he said I could just do the training at whatever I could pay.
Right.
And I got all the support I needed in counseling that year for 9 months after this happened. So I had a lot of support. I feel hella fucking privileged. Okay. I was saw my privilege so hardcore throughout this whole experience.
That's privilege, but that's also the strength of community.
Yes. Yes. But also the fact that I had a car. Or a job, there's just,
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
You were privileged in that you weren't
and resources,
and also weren't a racialized or otherwise othered minority in the eyes of the justice.
Oh yeah, and
you would have had a much different experience otherwise. I'm certain.
Totally, and I'm actually half Peruvian, and I present as white, so I am Yeah, sure, I'm an other, and also that's how I'm presented. But anyway, okay. So I go home. I'm like, oh shit. Okay, get counseling. Don't know what's happening with my life. I also had one other run-in with the law when I was 17. Luckily, it was under 18, so it wasn't on my record, which was I got caught with weed at my old high school that I didn't even go to anymore.
Oh, they really don't like it when you've got drugs on campus and you're not a student there. That's a peeve of the...
So I had to do 6 months of teen rehab on Wednesday nights for a while. And I also had to pay a few $100s. And
well, you have to inflate the numbers of people who are in treatment for marijuana addiction so you can pretend that marijuana is really bad for you and society.
Oh, speaking of.
Okay, so when I got back, I didn't have a lot of money and I needed $7,000 for a lawyer. So I owed someone basically $7,000 and I needed $7,000 and I literally am a month-to-month person at this time in my life. Right? So it's not I don't have the savings of any kind. I'm a painter and I had an art show. So I just finished a bunch of paintings within 6 weeks and I was able to raise $10,000 from my community.
Not bad.
So they were awesome. Thank you everyone who supported that
Community
show.
is incredible.
Yeah, it was the first time I actually posted something on Facebook like, Angie needs help, with me crying. Like a picture. Okay, I raise money, I get a lawyer, I get counseling. The future is unknown. I'm 31 at this point in my life. Okay, this is about 10 years ago. And I get there and they basically, the judge, the whole thing was like 5 minutes. It's so short. It was just like, can you afford therapy and drug testing? And you were on probation for 3 years. For the next year and a half, you have to get drug tested, see a therapist you don't really want to see, because they can do the paperwork to mail it to your probation officer. And if you leave the county, I think it was supposed to be that you'd have to actually get a note from your probation officer, but it was definitely like leaving the state. So if you left the state, which I did many times throughout that 3 years, I had to like go to Hayward. I had a car to actually do that at this weird office in the middle of nowhere. Hence the privilege of that, because it just takes forever to do anything in the system.
Yeah.
It's very humbling. So I'm just going to take a breath. If you could just take another breath with me. So the weird thing was I could actually pick when I got drug tested. I just had to do it once a month.
Great.
So it was only once a month, and I had to go to a homeless shelter and give them $30, and I'd go in their bathroom and they dealt with it there. That's where the closest one to me that they would accept or whatever for the, state.
Boy, doesn't that just really tell you everything about the way we treat crime and homelessness in our culture.
Yeah, it was awkward. But anyway, so then I had to also pay for therapists who knew the paperwork. So I picked somebody who, I didn't really connect that much with. But then I had to see him twice a month for a year and a half. And so that all cost close to $300 a month, just like the maintenance of that. And oddly enough, my dad found out about this, which I really didn't want to tell my parents about this at all.
You
But
never do.
he lived in Australia for 4 years, and I had met this really awesome gay man, and he was going to Burning Man, and he was a lot younger. He was closer to my age, but he was friends with my dad's friend kind of thing. So we had connected, and then he's like, hey, I'm going to be at the burn. He goes to my camp Tuesday night, like same thing. Like, oh, wait, let me tell you what happened to her. And then he tells Mary, my dad's friend in Australia, Mary talks to my dad saying, oh my God, your daughter got arrested for mescaline.
Everyone at this table wishes.
And my dad still thinks it's like mescaline. Like, he just doesn't know what he's talking about.
There are really still lots of people in this world who think that mescaline is easily available.
Shout out to our listeners at Accuracy Third. If you have mescaline, you can bring it to the Accuracy Third listener appreciation party on Playa. We're not going to say where it is in this episode to indemnify us and you against any sort of narc shit.
And
but
also
you'll know where to
because
find
this
us.
is true year after year. If you're listening to this in 2027, find out where our listener appreciation party is and bring us mescaline.
Yeah, mescaline is legal in Nevada now.
Oh my God.
So that's great. Hey, thank you to that incredibly progressive Nevada state legislature. You guys are killing it.
D-Day, Beth, whoever edits this, make sure to leave this in. We want mescaline.
Oh, yeah, I'm leaving this in.
Accuracy Third does not support drug use, and none of the hosts use illegal drugs at any times. Please, we want mescaline. Please go ahead.
So I'm almost done with the story. So I raised some money. I was very poor. My dad finds out about it. He's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you did this. I'll pay for your therapy.
You're so cool.
Here, I'll give you like $250 a month for your therapy, which was really cool. Thanks, Dad. I'm not
Having
sure,
parents who are flush is great.
Yeah. Yeah. Hopefully you don't hear this, Dad. But thank you. I don't really want you to hear the whole story.
Especially not the Sex in a Thunderstorm bit.
Oh, God. Yeah. Ew. Okay. So the whole thing cost me, I don't know, maybe $25,000.
Jesus.
And with
Some
3 years.
expensive, weak Russian chocolates.
So this happened September 2012. And it wasn't over until November 2016.
That is unacceptable.
Yeah.
Intolerable.
So I went to Canada at one point during my probation because I had some family up there. So I went up there and I had to get a note from my probation officer saying it's okay for her to be here. These are the addresses and where she's going, because I was going to like Portland, Seattle, and then I was taking the ferry, and then I only have a backpack on me. The first one off the ferry, my aunt is there. My tia is like, hey, the fuck, you're the first one off the ferry, because they hold me for like an hour and question me. And I said it was mushroom chocolates and I was at a festival. I literally just said it to the guy. I was like, I took gave some
like,
mushroom.
what do you want? Like, that's what I paid for. A safe place to go to do psychedelics.
Yeah.
And you know what? They fucked it up. I was having a great time. They weren't even that good.
And at that point, the Canadian officer was like, all right, get the fuck out of here. He literally was
I am sorry, man.
And my tia's like, why did you take so long? And I'm like, there was a problem with my passport. I don't know, So I was okay. I was able to go. I was kind of surprised with that one. And that was the only time I left the country during that time. And then basically it was done. And I kind of was just like, fuck you, Burning Man. Okay, fuck you.
It's fair.
Fuck you.
You know?
So I didn't go back for 7 years. I did go in 2019, which was kind of a miracle, as we all know.
Slid right in there.
Yeah. And I proceeded to have a good burn, but, my partner had like a TBI, like almost stroke kind of thing. And a few days before we left, and like it was great. It's just a lot of work I'm not really sure if it's for me. I want to bring the Burning Man culture to the world. I want to just be present and happier and joyful and creative out in the world more, and not just in this one place.
Right.
Have you thought about taking in some of the smaller burns?
Yeah, I love the regionals. Yeah, for sure. I didn't mean to bag on it. I know it's about this podcast.
Oh, no. We bag on all sorts of things. There are good things and bad things about our culture.
I actually think that there's mostly pretty good things about our culture.
We are a very bongo-heavy culture, and that's not great.
Your aesthetic opinions about our culture are...
Thank you. Valid.
Yours. They are yours. You are 1/3 of this podcast. You get to express them.
So I will now make a public service announcement to not give anyone any drugs or even alcohol, might as well, unless you know them. So if you're on the playa and you think it's this fun thing, as people are traveling from all over Australia, Europe, just different places to go. Yeah, a lot of people are looking for medicine, is what I actually like to call it. I don't call it drugs. It's for medicine. It's a different kind of medicine if you're really embracing it in the sacred way. And I do, and I still do, even after this. Even after this like trauma, it's still a spiritual practice for me to do medicine like by myself with partner and community. And yeah, so just be careful. Only, share with people you know.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Remember, listeners, the survival guide says to obey all federal and local laws, and anything you do otherwise takes consequences in your own hands.
Yeah, and it's not illegal for you cops to give us drugs. So, so you just keep that in mind when you come to our listener appreciation party.
Yeah, whoever our NSA minder is, if you know somebody who's got some actual honest-to-God mescaline in the evidence room, you bring that to the listener appreciation party in 2037.
Yeah, and I mean, please bring the evidence tag with you so we know who to thank afterward.
Oh, my gosh. Well, that's it for my story, I think. I mean, unless you have any questions that you can think of that you'd want to ask me, but I really appreciate you letting me just tell it so I don't have to tell it its full length, It's not something I'm proud of. I feel glad I got through it. I do want to help the prison complex and fucking just get rid of fucking prisons, please. Let's abolish prisons.
Yeah.
Please.
They are the most heinous.
Really seems like we should
many
have
heinous
almost no one in them.
Yeah.
No one. There is no one who is served by being incarcerated. And there is no community that is served by incarcerating its members.
Then how will you get a job as a guard?
There's like lots of construction sites that need people to walk around and like eyeball people from the fence line.
All right, then we'll talk to the union.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Unions. Look, unions instead of prisons. How about that?
You don't have to have people in cages in order to have shitty people be guards. There's lots of things that can be shittily guarded. Yeah, shit asses.
Yeah, and it was, back to just the privilege real quick around my whole thing, because I remember having to get like a $30 money order for something, and they closed at 4 and it was 2:30 and I needed a money order by 4 to leave the state, or else I had to actually stay an extra night.
Right.
And I'm like, so where's the money order? It's at the Walmart down the street. I had a car to actually go in the Walmart. I had $30 to get a money order. Like the whole time I was like, oh my God, like if you don't have a car, this would take forever. And then if you don't have the money, like I just kept thinking how they made it so hard. And I'm very smart and very resourced and have the internet. And it was very difficult for me to process like this whole, like, I was like, what is actually happening? I have no idea what's happening most of the time, unless you really had a lawyer to just break it down for you and say, don't worry. He was just like, don't worry, it'll be fine. I don't know what would have happened if I didn't have that.
They just keep preying on you in different ways.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
So that was
So I expect that's the worst thing that's happened to you at Burning Man, right?
God, I'd hope so.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what's the best thing that's happened to you at Burning Man besides that real good fucking?
We'd dropped some acid and walked out to the playa, and there was this, God, I'm spacing on his name right now, but he has a song called Love Warrior, and it's actually on Spotify, and he's from Lithuania. We're tripping, going out in the desert, and then there's this group of about 30 people singing to him. He's singing, and he has his guitar hooked up to the like massive like speaker.
Oh, nice.
And we're all singing like, because you're a love warrior, a hippie in disguise of undiscriminating. And it was just like so fun to dance and in a circle and sing with people in the desert. And that was probably one of the best moments I had of just really like embracing your hippie and being a fucking love warrior, because we are. And I believe I hope we're love warriors, like in our culture, and especially in the burner culture,
Love is a weapon if you wish to use it as such. And some people think that love is for sissies, but no. Love is the most powerful force in the universe. So be generous with your love. Don't hold it back. Let me hear you say, I love you. 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 Oh, 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 I said I love you. 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 Oh, 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 oh.
Son of day, bastard, child of night. I was born into the dark, conceived in endless light. I am a ripple on a tranquil lake, a patch of icy calm in cataclysmic way. Love a warrior, a hippie in disguise, of unassuming form, of undistinguished size. You are a love warrior, 5 fingers in the air, clenched into a fist, pretend that you don't care. You are a love warrior. Oh, 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 love warrior. Whoa, oh, 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 love warrior. Oh, oh, oh.
And that was Anji Bear. Wasn't that delightful?
That was an incredible story.
That was really intense.
Often when we record these intros and outros, one of us has not actually listened to the episode yet. In this particular instance, we went ahead and previewed the edit, and I don't know that I've watched Beth cringe in response to a story that hard in a minute.
It's a real story.
Yeah, I have our brief encounter with the cops was so unpleasant, and nothing bad happened to us. And like it not wrecked, but like I carried that stress into Burning Man for days and days and days.
Oh yeah.
Anytime I saw cops around, I just felt unsafe. and like really uncomfortable. So, and I just can't even fucking imagine. I mean, I can now because good storytelling, which is why I was cringing, because it's like, oh, fuck. Oh, no. Oh, fuck. And yeah, and, just fuck the police.
Fuck the police forever.
Yeah, kind of fully fuck the police.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of money spent for very little benefit. And the dubious benefit that is gotten from it could be gotten in a more humane manner.
Yeah, no, listeners, listen to this. Pay attention. Fuck a ranger, but fuck the police.
Dude, if you can get into a ranger's khaki,
Pants.
not pants,
Kilt.
because it's going to be a kilt. If you can get into a ranger's khaki kilt, expect it to be proficient.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rangers come prepared.
Yep.
Fuck a ranger. Fuck the cops.
Find out. The thing about narcs that I hate is how they lie and put you in jail.
Can you imagine that being your job? To like pretend to be someone who accepts fucking gifts and then like fucks up their world intentionally, who goes out and dresses and pretends to be one of these people in sexually suggestive ways, I might add, very skimpily dressed. And to do that, to accept, which they fucking know they're accepting a gift. They know they're accepting a gift. They're out there. They know that culture, and they are choosing that. That is so gross.
Oh yeah, they're on a mission from God to erase the poison of narcotics from the face of America before it ruins another life.
The Reds and Blues Brothers.
Burning Man is like great place for narcs because Burning Man is full of pretty people in completely thought through costumes. I could spot a narc at 100 paces at the Rainbow Gathering. No amount of costumery will turn a hippie, a fucking cop into a wook.
Yeah.
It can't be done. You have to spend at least a year sleeping in the woods before you're full wook.
Yeah, your feet being disgusting has to be like your life.
Yeah.
I do want to say that in the realm of safety about giving away inebriants is always, always, always be safe. But in general, the people that you should give those things to are people that you walk up to and can talk to and who are parts of things that you understand and connect to, not just a pretty stranger. You know how much you can find out, oh my God, burners want to tell you about what they're doing at Burning Man. If you sit and talk to someone who helped do a thing, which is like 90% of everyone out there, they can tell you, oh yeah, I came with this camp. I am so excited about this thing, blah, 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 blah. Don't just walk up to someone in a bikini and hand them drugs.
Yeah, boring pretty people, they are probably already inundated with drugs if they are legit. And if they aren't legit, they're cops.
And if they're all pretty and boring and they don't have an interesting story to tell you about what they've been doing with their burn, they don't deserve your drugs.
Yeah. You know who you should give your drugs to?
DPW.
The old.
Yes.
The old. When you see people out there who are older, who are out there fucking burning, give them all your drugs if they want them, consensually.
You know who is not a narc?
Who's not a narc?
Naked old dude on a bicycle.
Oh, that is so not a narc.
If you're looking at gray pubes, you are not looking at cop pubes.
Yeah, that is
Is there
99% true.
is there shirt cocking going on? That guy's not a narc.
Yeah, because you don't want a picture of that to go to trial. And like, if that guy is a narc, like, see if that cop has the temerity to take that trial to trial.
You think you're dealing with not a narc, and then 10 minutes in, that shirt rides up just a little higher, and you realize that's not a shirt cocker. That's a guy wearing dick-shaped underpants to hide his badge.
God, they would do something that stupid. They do things that stupid. They hate. They are haters.
They're haters. Cops are haters. Fuck the cops. Fuck the cops.
What is carcerality? What does carceral mean?
It means to reduce the lives of certain individuals to a commodity for the benefit of
Companies who use their labor and don't really pay for it, right?
Do you know what I find hard is that carceral is not a real word in a way that Google recognizes or Reddit spell check recognizes. And I can't say carceral state the way that I intend to.
Yeah, I've run into that problem myself in the wilds of Twitter.
So what carceral is the system in which we imprison people, and by the laws, rules, and officers that inflict that system upon us. That is a carceral state, including cops and prisons and jails and, court systems.
Why, it sounds like a system of punishment.
It is a social approach to the concept of justice that can be largely thought of as punitive, though some societies employ similar carceral tactics in a more ostensibly rehabilitative mode. I'm looking at you, Norway. But in the United States, if there is any gesture towards rehabilitation, it is just a fig leaf hiding our naked retributive justice.
Odin was all about lifting people up.
See, you reminded me the reason why I try to use carceral system is because the other term you use is the justice system, which is incorrect and is a bad word to use for how we choose to punish people in this country.
I've actually got kind of a philosophical issue with even the term justice.
Exactly.
It's even though it's frequently employed by people with whom I make common cause in the concept of social justice and racial justice. I personally feel the concept is noxious because it's romantic.
I remember having this problem when I started working at a department that has social justice in the title, because we'd had this conversation before, which is that justice implies a kind of ruling that is deeply questionable about how we should attempt to perceive the way actions impact other people and the way that people need to be treated. Mm-hmm. I really like that take, which is one of the reasons why I'm a little about justice as well.
There is certainly thinking about the concept of justice that addresses these concerns that we have. Much of the contemporary prison abolitionist movement focuses on the restorative justice as an approach to addressing violations of social cohesion, which is really the abstract problem that
we point the blunt weapon of crime at.
Yes. How do you deal with people having moments where they exhibit antisocial behavior?
Well, if that's broadly bad, then you put them in a box and you put that box somewhere and you don't think about them or treat them like people ever again.
Can we also take people who are violence prone and unsuited for other work and put them also in that box, but armed and with the license to abuse the people we've put in that box?
Oh my God, no. Why would you do that? That's a terrible idea. Jesus Christ, Rex. That's sick.
They need gerbs.
Yeah, you don't want them interacting with the regular populace, do you?
No, you don't. And you're right. We do need jobs. I'm sorry. I forgot that money was necessary.
Hey, listeners. This is a blisteringly leftist podcast on top of also documenting the culture of Burning Man. If you have a problem with that, I invite you to get better at your social awareness.
I would would say we're more of a blistered leftist podcast.
No,
like
no,
kind of
that's why
flaky
we
and-
don't record from August to December, because we need to let the blisters heal before we begin blistering.
We do record, we just don't publish them. We want to record with people,
Stop
though.
breaking the fourth wall.
Reach out to us at accuracy3rd@gmail.com and schedule an interview with us, your favorite podcast hosts who talk about a very niche subject, if that is in fact the case.
Oh, no. Yeah. And now you'll be talking directly to me. So please don't talk about me in sexualized ways. Thanks.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good Beth.
Hit us up at accuracy3rd@gmail.com with your story of Burning Man, the event, Burning Man, the culture, Burning Man, what it's done to you. Tell us about your regionals. Tell us about the regional you're going to throw. Tell us about you and your friends having a party in your backyard where you burned a log and called it Burning Man because you did it with your pants off. Or don't. Beth's face says don't.
Not that specific scenario, but different ones, yes.
You can help us out on Patreon financially. You can help us out by growing this podcast, by sharing it with your burner friends and your wannabe burner friends. If you're bringing any burners to the burn in 2022 for their very first burn, first off, make sure they have lots of condoms. even if no sexual contact takes place, they're catching something. It's 2022. It's going to be dirty out there.
Remember pink eye as an STI. Please be careful, everyone. Wash your hands.
And send them our vag, our virgin acculturation guide. Get them all crusty before they go out and catch some crusties.
Yeah.
And drag them along with you when you come to our listener appreciation party in motherfucking Center Camp, Wednesday, 2 p.m. Be there, find us, find the Redditors that are partying with us. And that's that call to action. Anybody else got a call to action? You're supposed to put calls to action at the end of podcasts.
Well, we'll be there at Burning Man this year, which is the first time we've been to Burning Man in far too long.
It's going to be a wild and strange. And I imagine just like real deep emotional breakdown kind of year.
Looking forward to it.
The music that we used in this episode is, in fact, by Jurgis Did and Fentusi.
Fentusi.
You can find Jurgis on YouTube doing a TEDx talk at Black Rock City. I can't tell what year it was. This may very well have been the very sing-along featured in this very episode that is causing me to say very one more time.
And it's kind of adorable, so you should check it out if you're into adorable hippie shit.
Agreed. We'll maybe make D-Day put that in the show notes.
Sure. Send me the link.
You are a love warrior, a hippie in disguise, of unassuming form, of undistinguished size. You are a love warrior, 5 fingers in the air, clenched into a fist. Pretend that you don't care. You are a love warrior. Oh, 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 oh. Love warrior. Oh, 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 oh.
Love is a weapon. Love is love. Love is generous, but it will test you. Love is bold, so be as bold as love. Bring it to the front line where your brothers and sisters are suffering. Bring it to the bully, bring him home to his heart, because it's all love or calling for love. Now, not silence, we will bring bright love to darkest night. Love warriors unite!
You are a love warrior, a hippie in disguise, of unassuming form, of undistinguished size. You are a love warrior, 5 fingers in the air, clenched into a fist. Pretend that you don't care. You are a love warrior. Oh, 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 oh. Love warrior. Oh, 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 oh.
So that's my story. And I think if you have any follow-up questions, you could probably email Accuracy Third and I will try and answer them.
What,
and I hope this doesn't happen to you.
What do I know you're tired of telling this story. What are the annoying follow-up questions that you usually get?
Kind of like everything I tried to address. I really tried to address a lot of things, like what did the narcs look like, the undercover cops. Oh, they also had a recording device. They were recording everything. So there was somebody listening somewhere. I never got those, recordings, of course.
Sure. Well, they said that they were recording.
Was there
Right,
anything
that's
about
true.
the way
Yeah.
they looked that in retrospect was copy?
Because he was drinking a beer, I think it could have even been non-alcoholic for all I
Yeah,
might
could have
not have
been water.
even noticed.
Yeah.
And thank you. That was really tender and hard, and I'm also glad I said it. So I really, really appreciate this a lot.
I appreciate you sharing this. This is not only an important slice of your personal history to document, it's an important feature of our shared cultural history and something that the whole community needs to be aware of.
Yeah.
And if you're like a lawyer or like an ex-cop who is also a burner, you should reach out to us, give us and our listeners advice on how to avoid the strong arm of the law.
Oh, the most explicit and straightforward advice is do not do anything illegal in and around Burning Man unless it is bringing mescaline to your friends at Accuracy.
Your friends at Accuracy Third.
Thank you.
I'm curious how many people were arrested every year. If you could put that in, because people think it's a lot, and it's actually not a lot for how big the city is and for how much going on and how many hundreds of bars there are, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, few people arrested, almost no one prosecuted.
Yeah, I think that year I want to say there was 13 arrests in 2012, but that's just going to
And every single one of them tragic. At least 9 of them tragic.
Well, let's see. In 2019, 60 people were arrested.
Whoa.
Highest total since 2013.
And that's out of like 82,000? Mm-hmm. That seems par for the course for, New Orleans during Mardi Gras. Except no wait.
Yeah.
For Mardi Gras or spring break, it's more than 60 for a week.
In 2018, 43, 2017, 58. Much higher than 2013 when only 6 people were arrested. So, it varies.
I wonder if they count the people that get arrested on the road
I don't think so. I think this is just,
at the event during the
at
party.
the event. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I've seen it reported out in like JRS and other places.
I think they have it like as a total at the end, just being like, there was
Yeah.
this many arrests,
Yeah, but there's no articles about how many of us don't get arrested at Burning Man. All of us hanging out there having a great time. Totally not running afoul of the law.